Welcome, Ravens, to your 2022 Spring Sports Media Day. I'm Avery Johnson, and today we're joined by coaches and athletes from each of the 7 spring sports. Each sport will have 8 minutes to answer questions about their upcoming season. But before we start, we would like to thank coaches and athletes for their time and dedication to their sport. To start us off, I'm joined alongside Coach Stevens, Andy Hafner, Brett Beard, and Quinn Heather. Last season, 14 athletes made it to state, with the boys overall placing 8th and girls placing 10th out of 36 teams. The team has been working hard in order to prepare for their first meet tomorrow at ODAC. Coach, I will pass it over to you for an opening statement.
Yeah, I'd like just to say that we are super excited about the opportunity we have this year. We have a lot of returning varsity athletes that qualified for the state meet last year and did really, really well. I mean, we just heard we were 8th and 10th, and we have higher aspirations for the upcoming season. We have some new kids that have joined our team this year that I feel like are really going to give us a boost and are going to give us an opportunity to, reach even higher heights this year as we head to Wichita in May.
Thank you, Coach. I will now open the floor to questions.
Christian Cowitz with the Olathe Northwest show. I know, Andy, you have worked this past off-season with Coach Parker a lot, but this could be for any of the athletes. How do you think your off-season conditionings and early morning workouts have, started to affect your season game, or have they really affected you at all?
So I worked with Coach Parker all off-season on strength and agilities and stuff like that, and we got stronger and faster. And I know Quinn and Brett, they both worked with my dad, and we all went to conditioning, and we were held accountable by our coaches.
I'm Heidi McCormick with the Raven Network, and this is for the athletes. Do you guys have any superstitions that you do before every meet?
Well, I always wear a white sock on my left leg, usually with a black sock on my right leg, but it's just something I do every time.
I don't really have any. I just go out there and run, just a goal. So.
I usually eat Mike and Ike's right before I run. I usually run pretty fast after that.
I'm Drew Higgins, and question is for Coach Stevens. What are some goals you have heading into the season this year?
So goals for us typically begin with, getting better every week, working hard, coming together as a team. And then, the team goals would be obviously when we get to the last 3 meets of the season, which would be the league meet. We obviously want to place as high as we can. Our league is the toughest league in the state of Kansas. The Olathe schools that we compete against are very, very talented, and so we want to finish as high as we can at the league meet. At the regional meet, we want to qualify as many athletes as we can to get to run down to Wichita at the state meet, which is a great honor, and it's an awesome atmosphere to run and compete. And then when we get to the state meet, obviously we want to compete to the best of our ability and score as many points as we can and try to finish in the top 3.
My name is Liam Staggs. I have a question for Coach Stevens. So what do you expect out of the seniors as they take up leadership roles?
Yeah, leadership is huge in terms of being able to kind of foster the younger kids along. Leadership comes in many different forms. Encouraging your teammates at practice. Some of the practices are very difficult, and so encouraging teammates to do well and to push themselves and to keep trying and fight through the difficult times. That's a big part of it. And then leadership can come through example as well. Like when we have kids like Brett and Quinn and Andy that bust their tail every day and lead through example, finishing workout strong and doing well, then that kind of passes on to the younger kids, and they learn how to work hard as well.
My name is JP. I'm with Ecom. So a couple of questions, actually. Knowing last year, Brett, for the 4x8, Lawrence was a pretty big competitor. How do you seek to beat them this year? Obviously run fast, but what does training look like different this year than previous years? And Coach, I know that there's a bunch of different coaches on the track team this year. So how do you guys make it all work and be able to coach a massive group of students, but yet have them all succeed individually?
Well, first off, we're not really worried about Lawrence Free State. We're just focused on what we got to do and doing our job. So as long as we take care of business every day, do what we gotta do. Everything should work out on Fridays, hopefully, so.
Good. I would second that too, right? You can only control what we do, and we know we're going to work hard and do our best and do well at meets and let the chips fall where they may. In terms of our coaching staff, I have a great staff, and we have a very large amount of student athletes out for track and field this year. And it can be kind of like a three-ring circus at times, but we try to stay really organized, and we try to make sure that we coach every kid every day somehow, some way, and I think that's a big part of why we're successful.
Hi, my name's Libby Zook with the Raven Network. So for those of you who run relays, would you rather be in the first leg of the race or the last leg, and why?
For me, it really doesn't matter. I'm ready for whatever. If I had to pick one, I guess, I'd probably say last, just because, all the pressure's on you. That's what kind of like, so.
My name is Wyatt Sinclair, and this question's for the athletes. I was just wondering, what are some things you guys did last season that you want to change this season?
Last year I got 5th place at the regionals. Don't want to do that again. Top 4 go to state, so it's close.
I'm
Jump
gonna
higher
try.
this year.
I'm gonna try to stay injury-free. That's obviously the ultimate goal. Maybe not rip my hamstring in half. That's a good goal.
Hello, my name is Taylor Haynes. What type of mental attitude goes into track practice, and how impactful is a good mindset?
Mental side on track's huge. For me, I just really focus on the next rep and getting through it. You gotta have a positive mindset, because obviously it sucks. No one likes to run. But, just gotta get through it mentally and keep a positive attitude.
I would say being there with your friends always helps. And if you go in with the mindset that it's gonna suck a lot worse than it already does. So being there with your friends and laughing when everyone's going through the pain always helps.
I agree. Being with your team and taking it day by day is the key to succeeding.
We have time for one more question.
All right. I'm Nathan Lowen. This is a question for Brett Beard. Your PR time for the 800 meters is a minute 57:32, and that qualifies you for top in the state. How do you plan to beat that? Do you feel any pressure about that?
There's no pressure, really. I just gotta go in, do my best, see what happens. Friday Night Lights, just go out and do me, so.
That is all the time we have for questions. I'd like to thank Coach Stevens and the athletes for their time today. Up next, we have girls soccer.
You're such a loser.
Welcome back, Ravens. I now have the girls soccer team beside me with Coach Graham and varsity players Keaton Code, Bailey Schinkel, and Kaylee Neese. The girls ended their past season with 9 wins, 5 losses, and 3 ties. With lots of hard practice, the girls take on Shawnee Mission Northwest this Saturday at the Shawnee Mission Soccer Complex at 12 o'clock. Be sure to go out and show your support. Coach, I will pass it over to you for an opening statement.
Yeah, we're just really excited to get the season started. I've got a really good group of kids this year that have shown up from day one and worked extremely hard through all kinds of crazy weather, and have been really proud of the effort that they put in so far, and excited to see them actually compete on Saturday. So.
Thank you, Coach. I will now open the floor to questions.
All right, I'm Max Weaver. This question is for Coach Graham. You guys have had some new players come in from club ball that are playing their senior season. So my question is, how is that going to change the dynamic of the team, and are you excited to see how they play?
Yeah, I'm obviously excited to see how they play. The nice thing is that even though a couple of them, we've got 3 new additions this year, 2 of them actually played their freshman year before COVID shut us down their sophomore year. So it's not brand new for everybody. And it's been really nice to see that it seems so far that everybody's fit in really well, and it's up the competition level, which is something that every coach wants to see within their program. So.
This question is for Keaton and Kaylee. You're both going on to play at the collegiate level, so what do you think the biggest difference is going to be between high school and college, and what are you most excited about?
I think the biggest difference will be obviously like keeping up with academics and athletics while traveling out of state for games. I don't know, I'm just really excited for the competition. And
I'll add to that. So something that's cool about the collegiate level is it's like a mix of high school and club, because you get the idea of like playing for your school and stuff like that, but you also get like the intensity of club, because in club you have a little more time to train, but high school it's just like game. So each like club and high school are a little different, but I think that they're both really important towards development.
This question is for Coach Graham. With lots of talented juniors and 5 senior leaders, what will the competition look like between teammates, and will that help the team's performance on the field as well?
Yeah, I think anytime that you have competition within the group, I think it enhances the opportunity to be successful as an overall team. I think, the roles that players have is continuously being developed and determined through the season. So we have an idea kind of going into this first game, but that can change. But I've been really, like I said, I've been really impressed with everybody and the work rate that everybody's put in, and I don't think it can do anything but help us down the road.
So this is a question for either the players or coach. What obstacles have you overcome since the start of the season?
Probably weather so far. Like, I think we've had maybe like 4 or 5 outdoor practices, and so we've kind of had to juggle like indoor practices, which aren't ideal, and just like our game has been changed like 3 times. Like, we're supposed to play yesterday and then today, and now we're playing Saturday, but it's nothing like too big.
I'm Aiden Loney for Coach Graham. We've heard that you guys are trying to press a lot more this year, so how do you guys think that it'll benefit the team and like goal scoring opportunities?
I think if you ask any of the kids on our team, I think they would probably agree that we have some pretty talented attacking players. And so the opportunity to win the ball higher up the field quicker can put us in positions to try and put teams under a lot of pressure. And I think that because of the players that we have in certain spots, I think it enhances our opportunities to be successful in games. So.
This is Cooper Boyer from Ecom. This question is for Bailey Schinkel. What is one of your personal goals, considering this is your senior season?
Probably scoring this year, but yeah, that's a big one. And maybe more assists. Yeah.
This is Cecilia Koperanian with ONW Now. How is the team chemistry so far, and how does that impact the game and your team and how you guys train and get ready?
I think our team chemistry this year is pretty good. We've had a lot of team get-togethers so far. So I think having good team chemistry makes us all very successful on the field, so that's something that's very important.
I think team chemistry is one of the things that can make or break a season for us. I think you can have a group of really talented players, but if they don't get along and play well together, you're not going to be successful for the season. So.
This is Ryan Peck. This question is for Coach Graham. With a very technical and transitional lineup, how do you plan to use that throughout the season?
I think that develops as the season goes, right? Like I said earlier, that you've got an idea kind of going into game one, what that's going to look like. And then I think that, again, because of the players we have in certain positions, it allows us to play in a way that that puts pressure on other teams. And the speed of play that we have this year, I think, is going to be fun to watch as the season goes. So.
This is a question for the players. Are there any chants or pre-game rituals that take part within the team?
Before we go out to warm up, we all step on the field together.
I have a weird pregame thing. I have in my bag a stuffed dog from a really long time ago, and then a really old headband and a plastic lemon, and those are my little good luck charms. It's not as much a ritual, but those are my superstitions.
I have one too. Mine's pretty weird, but I eat mac and cheese before every game.
We have time for one more question.
This is for the coach. So you had a great team with the boys in the fall. Do you have the same expectations for the goals this season?
Yeah, so every season is different from year to year and season to season. I have expectations about what I'd like to see from us, but ultimately it comes down to the goals that the players have, because they've got to have the expectations of themselves to do certain things, and I think they do, and I think if they work as well as I think they can, I think those expectations will be met.
All right, that is all the time we have for questions. A big thank you to Coach Graham and our varsity players for joining us today. Up next, I'm going to pass it over to Ashley Gillette for baseball.
Monkey.
Welcome back to the 2022 Spring Media Day. I'm Ashley Gillette, joined alongside the baseball team with Coach Mesa and seniors Carson Reeves, Luke Pavlovich, Camden McKernan, and Stephen Mesa. The Ravens baseball team finished with a record of 10-11 last season and 8th in the Sunflower League. The first game of the season and home opener will be this Friday at 5:30 versus Blue Valley West at Seaback. Coach, if you have any opening statements, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank the opportunity to be up here with these guys. It's going to be a fun season, I believe, and we're anticipating some good things. We have a large senior class, and we definitely want to build on last year's, obviously, statistics that she just threw out there. We have been creating some goals to help us improve on that.
Thank you. I will now open the floor to questions.
I'm Blake Woolery, and I have a question for any of the athletes. If there was one personality trait that could add to the team, what would be the main personality trait that would develop as a team?
Personally, I think energy is a big part.
Yeah, I just think we all bring energy every day, but it's just a matter of meshing all that. I mean, we're all funny, so we just try to keep a nice balance between our humor and focus on the field. So.
I'm Cody Boldoff, and I have a question for Coach Mesa, but maybe the players can chip in a little bit. So new coaching change so drastically soon. So what's the biggest difference?
I'll kind of address this, and you guys can, like I said, chime in. It is a transition, for sure. It's a transition anytime you go through a little bit of a coaching change, and I think practices are a little different. These guys could probably agree with that. I think the personalities of the coaches, I just came off of a winter season where I have to be a little more intense, and so does our other head varsity assistant coach, and we definitely bring that energy as well to these teammates.
I'd say the biggest thing with that kind of change is just that the players, we choose not to focus on that and choose to be just good at what we're doing, and that's focusing on what we need to do at practice, our games ahead, and things like that, so not really the politics in a decision like that.
I'm Jay Smith. This question's for the players. With all you being seniors, is there any goals that you haven't accomplished that you hope you accomplish before the season ends this year?
Yeah, definitely want to have a winning record this year. I mean, some of this might be our last time playing baseball this year for some seniors, so most definitely, go out with a bang and, leave no regrets on the field. So.
Christian Kowitz with Raven Baseball Network. We can start with Carson and move down the line for the athletes. The team has already gone through much adversity, as people know. So how will you as teammates rally the team together and become leaders on the team?
I'd say the biggest thing is just holding each other accountable and kind of just keeping the focus where it needs to be throughout the season, and especially right now with things like weather and, like you said, the adaptability of the team. I think everyone just hold each other accountable.
I think just be ready every day for the task at hand, whether, cancellations or, stuff changing. Just got to be ready, next guy up every time. So just got to be, hungry every day to get better.
Yeah, I would say basically every day we step on the field, step in the gym, practice, game, whatever, workout. We just kind of all do it for each other. So just kind of keeping that mindset and, working hard every day for each other.
I'd say making sure our underclassmen have someone to look up to because they'll be in our spot one day.
Okay, this is for all the athletes. Who on the team would you not let date your daughter?
Stephen Mesa.
Stephen Mesa.
Definitely.
Stephen Mesa.
Me.
I'm Drew Higgins, and this question's for Luke Pavlovich. On the pitching side of the game, what are your goals and what's the speed you're wanting to get to?
Velocity's great, but I'm just looking to throw a lot of strikes, keep the earned runs down. The less batters you let on base, the less runs they're going to score. So I think that's my main goal, is keep my ERA probably under 1.5. So we'll see how that goes.
This question's for Camden McKernan. You just came off of Tommy John surgery and had to miss your junior season. So how are you going to battle back your senior season, and what has changed for you?
Yeah, so actually I was able to play our full high school season last year. I just got hurt during the summer. It's just been a grind coming back with physical therapy and all this stuff. But, I'm full go now, so we're just out here to win games. Bust ass every day.
We have time for one more question.
My name's Wyatt Sinclair, and we can start with Carson and go down to Steven, but what is something you guys did on the off season to prepare for the season?
I did a lot of conditioning and lifting weights this off season just to get a little stronger and hit balls farther. That's pretty much it for me.
This off season specifically, I try to work on just arm strength and get my arm stronger. Just as a catcher and a pitcher, you kind of have to be healthy with both and know when to limit myself. So just finding a balance between pitching and catching and finding that right arm strength was just the best for me this off season. So.
Yeah, for me the same. It was just kind of building back up that strength, and strength and speed's something you always focus on, but also trying to maintain and keep health going so we can keep those injuries down, because we need all of us this year to just rally around each other.
Yeah, I lifted my butt off, and me and him, we went to go hit a lot, and I also went to KCSC. Shout out to them, they got me right, so, yeah.
That is all the time we have for the baseball team. I'd like to thank Coach Mesa and the rest of the athletes for their time. Next up, we will have a quick break before we are joined with the men's golf team. Spring Media Day. I'm Ashley Gillette, joined alongside the men's golf team. To represent the team is Coach Grove, Drake Crumey, Gavin Dines, and Jay Conley. The boys competed hard last season, setting a school record and tying a solo record, as well as finishing fifth at state. The boys will kick off their season Monday at Kansas City Country Club. Coach, if you have any opening statements, I will pass it over to you.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. I would like to thank the Ecom department as well as Mr. Cooper and his staff for putting this event on and showing a lot of respect to the spring athletes. And again, I want to also wish all the spring athletes the best of luck.
Thank you, Coach. We will now open it up to questions.
Cece Koperanian with the Raven Network. This question's for Drake. What legacy do you plan to leave when you go to college?
I think one legacy I'm willing to leave is like the dedication and hard work you got to put in like on the weekends and before the season. So I think hard work would be my main focus to leave for the underclassmen.
I'm Cody Baldoff, and this question is for Gavin Dines. I was told by one of your teammates to ask about Arnold Palmer's.
Yeah, so I have a slight addiction to sweet tea and lemonade. It's bad. I go through about a case a week. Those come in like 30 packs. So I'll have one every day for lunch, and then normally a couple when I get home. So it's bad, but it's all good.
My name is Liam Staggs. I have a question for Jake. As an underclassman, how do you expect to keep the team up to its high standards from last year?
The main thing that I have always done is just hard work. You have to make sure the freshmen are getting in like summer tournaments and they're practicing on the weekends. It's really all just the time you put outside of practice.
This question is for any of the athletes. How do you mentally or physically adjust during like a competition?
I mean, the mental aspect of golf is the largest part. You can be one of the best golfers in the world, but if you get something in your head that's wrong, you can fall down. So, I mean, just staying mentally in it. And one of my favorite quotes, you gotta have the memory of a goldfish. They have a 10-second memory, so you just forget about that last hole and move on if you have a bad one. Or just never get too high, never get too low. To just stay always in it.
And like to add on with that, like
if you hit a bad shot, you got to be confident with your swing that it was just that one time, and you got to keep moving forward. So I think that's a big aspect too.
So I have one last question. All of you guys up here, do you guys have plans for golf like after high school?
They're in the works, just nothing final right now. So I guess we'll have to see. Still got the season too, so.
All three of these players are very capable of being collegiate golfers if they choose to be. Obviously, Gavin being a junior and Jake being a sophomore, but all of them have the ability and skill set in order to play in college, as well as we have 6 or 7 other players that are fighting for 3 or 4 spots. But we've got a quality golf team with players that have all the ability to play collegiately.
I'm obviously looking to go somewhere for college to play golf. I'm not sure where yet. I'm still a junior, so I got 2 more seasons left, but my goal is to go somewhere to play golf.
Yeah, same with Gavin. I mean, I'm only a sophomore, so I have plenty of time, but it's some of the tournaments in the summers when you get looked at, so that's kind of what I'm trying to play good for.
This question's for Coach Grove. You guys placed 5th at state last year. Would you call that pressure, or would you think it's more reassurance in the team?
Well, we did place 5th last year, and we had a little bit more veteran squad than we do right now. You know, we were in 3rd place after the first day, and then we didn't play very well after about an hour and a half rain delay that second day. But these 3 players are up on podium now, are battle tested. They're very, very good players throughout the state and here in Johnson County. But like I said, we've got 5 or 6 other players, Henry Faisal and Ethan Raines and Logan Wilson are our other 3 seniors that are fighting to get into the top 6. And then we've got a cast of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors that are also very capable. So I think that, where we're going to end up is yet to be determined. A lot of that comes in the next 7 weeks. And in the next 7 weeks, you've got to practice properly. We're not going to change anyone's golf swings in the next 7 weeks, but how well they refine their games in the next 7 weeks really dictate kind of how the regional and the state competitions play out. But we have all the capability in the world with the guys that are sitting out there and the 3 that are up here. We have all the possibilities in the world to really have a strong team. But again, the next 7 weeks and our practice habits will dictate that.
I'm Aiden Loney. This is for any of the players. How do you guys adjust from playing golf just by yourself to playing as a team?
I mean, it still is really independent. Like, you're going out there and you're shooting the score, but at the end of the day, like, it's still a team, and we still put those scores together. So I say there's a lot of team bonding, but like the competition portion, it's a lot of independence.
Like what Drake said, you're not going out and playing with your team. There's no like passing the ball. You got to go out and you got to go for yourself, but you also got to remember that you got a team behind you, so you can't let your team down other than just letting yourself down.
Yeah, Jeff Cooper, Ecom Dad. Gavin, this question's for you, buddy. Recently, you shot a segment with us for Late Night Northwest with Christian. You talked about being mentally tough, but from the video clips, it looks like maybe you lost your composure just a little bit out there. Do you want to talk about that and just get the record straight for us?
Yeah, it was a struggle out there that day. I put up a decent score. I was just a little frustrated on a couple greens, and I let it get the best of me. But I moved on, and I was fine on the next tee box. And I know he's going to rip me apart for it.
That's something that we're working with Gavin on. It's a total team effort, and we're also calling on Ashley a lot to help in this endeavor. But no, the guys are growing.
Wait, so Ashley and Gavin, are they friends? Is that what you just said, Coach?
Again, I'm not on social media, and I don't do a lot of internet work, but I believe there's some connection.
question is for the athletes. With the weather being so poor recently, how has practice looked?
Awful.
I think the weather's been fine. The last two days on Monday and Tuesday when we played this week, we would have played a tournament. And, good players, veteran players, tough players, they don't complain. They put the warm cloth on, they put the hoodies on, and they go out and compete. And I think that we'll continue to do that through rain and all kinds of bad weather as well as good weather. So the weather's been fine.
This question's for all the athletes, and we can start with Drake and end at Jake, but what's something you're looking to change this season from last season?
I say just like going into every tournament like with the same attitude and not setting like a certain score I have to shoot. Just going with an attitude that I know I can control, because when you get out there, you can't control your score. It's only your attitude.
One of the things I really struggled with last year was chipping and putting around the greens, and so I feel like if I can fix that, I can maybe make a better push towards state towards the end of the season and maybe post a couple better scores for myself.
Yeah, for me, it's just all around consistency. Last year, my driver was a little loose, but I think if I can dial that in this whole season, it'll be pretty good.
This question is for Drake down to Jake again. So whose game would you say yours is most comparable to? Like PGA?
I say probably Ustaden. I don't know if you know him, but he's got like a really smooth swing, and it's really on plane, so I like to compare myself to his swing with how smooth it is and consistent.
I'm gonna go with Brooks Koepka, kind of a longer guy, but occasionally struggles around the greens and has a little bit of an attitude occasionally, but you get around it sometimes.
Yeah, I would say Jordan Spieth for me, because my short game is the best for me, and he's pretty solid around the greens.
That is all the time we have for the men's golf team. I'd like to thank Coach Grove and the rest of the golf team and wish you guys a great luck on your season. Up next, I will pass it over to Libby Zook for more on the softball team.
Team and a panel of 3 seniors, Maddie Wyatt, Paige White, and Jaden Reckie. Coach Lopez is also joined with us today, and he has been the head coach for several years now, and last season led the girls to a 13-9 season. Their first game is Tuesday, March 29th, away at Lawrence Free State at 5:30. I'll pass the mic to Coach Lopez for any opening statements.
First of all, thank you for having us here today, I should say. We were looking forward to a great season. We have a nice group of seniors here that are working really hard and showing great leadership toward building our program and having a wonderful season this year and hoping for a state title.
Thank you, Coach Lopez. I will now open the floor to questions.
I'm Cody Baldoff, and my question's for the coach. As Libby said the record for the softball team was 13-9. How do you see to improve that going into the season?
Well, I think last year we had, if you think back a couple of years, we had COVID shortened season, so our freshmen from that year didn't have a season. So last year we had a whole bunch of essentially freshmen, first timers with not a lot of experience playing. So we had all the actual freshman class and then the sophomore class as well. So experience is one of the big things I think that's going to help.
I'm Drew Higgins, and my question's for Maddie Wyatt. What's your pregame routine?
My pregame routine, I always go through the same, stretches. It doesn't matter where I am. It's the same stretches every time. I listen to the same song before every game. And on the bus, I take time to, get in my head, and I just get in my zone. And, yeah, it's not really complicated. It's just always the same.
So this question is for Coach. Do you guys have any players going to play in the collegiate level?
Yeah, we have Paige White, who is experiencing a shoulder injury at the moment, so she's gonna have plan a coach role a little bit this year because she's having surgery here soon, and she's going on to Mid-American Nazarene.
Building off of that page, do you hold yourself to a little higher standard now that you are going to move on to that next level?
Yeah, I feel like I am like an example for every other player, and I feel like I need to hold myself to a higher level. Not like I wasn't in the first place, but just being a better example and leading the team.
I have a question. Since you all are seniors, what type of legacy would you guys like to leave behind for the softball program?
I know that our team, we really work hard and we always put in all of our best effort, and just showing examples for the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, that's what builds a good team. And I know we're always working hard at practice, always putting 100% of our effort in, so.
And another thing is, our team is one big family. We work really hard to build, bonds. We go out to Sonic and we spend time together, and I think that's a very important thing. It's a thing that leads to our success, honestly, because you have to trust your teammates on the field. And just making sure that, we can leave behind and know that the juniors are going to step up, year after year is very important as well.
I have a question for Maddie. In that previous question, you mentioned a song. What is it and why?
Oh, my song, it's Bread Fan by Metallica, and it's just because, it's a really hype song, and it just, gets me hype and gets me going. I also listen to it in the gym when I'm, hitting PRs, because it just hypes me up and just gets me going.
Going off of that, Paige and Jaden, do you guys have any songs that you listen to that gets you, in the right mindset before each game?
I kind of just have a playlist of songs that I like. I don't really have a specific song. But yeah, I just have a playlist.
I'll listen to really anything, but we have a song every time before a game. It's The Bodies Hit the Floor. It kind of started as it accidentally got added to the playlist, so whenever we hear that song, it's it's time to go to work, it's time to start working hard, and it's time to put everything out there and be the best you can be. So that's a good song to listen to right before a game.
For all the players, what's the best strategy to get ready for an at-bat?
I would say the main thing is paying attention when you're in the dugout, first of all, and watching the pitcher's pitches and trying to get on time. And also going up there with confidence, because if you go up there and you're I'm not going to hit it, I'm going to strike out, I can't do this, then you're not going to hit it. So confidence is one of the main things to prepare for an at-bat.
To add on to that, I would say talking with your teammates, because watching that bat before you really helps you with your at-bat and just communicating.
Yeah, I know, as obviously hitting-wise is just not getting in your head, because a lot of us athletes get in our head a lot about things because we want to do well and we put that pressure on ourselves. So just realizing, just taking a deep breath, that's really helped a lot of us.
Yeah, Jeff Cooper from the Raven Network. Maddie, you had some great advice. You should go into like dating counseling, like going in confident, because I swung and missed a lot before I got married, so I appreciate that. That's for all you guys out here as well, Max Weaver, especially you. But I have a question about your team. You guys are talented, but you're a fun group as well. Who's the craziest player on your team?
Oh my gosh.
Kendall Yarnell.
Yes.
No
Kendall
question.
Yarnell knows how to have a good time.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would say that, because we teach with the Yarnell, so we know how crazy he is.
Yes.
What is it that she does that you can talk about and make it school appropriate? So,
Well, Kendall, she's just a ball of energy. Like, she's just a fireball all the time. She's, she's always dancing. She likes to have her snacks. Like yesterday, she had her chest protector on, and she pulled snacks out of it and was like, "Look, I have snacks!" And she's just crazy. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. She's just Kendall. That's.
Every day's different with her. You never expect the same thing.
Yeah. She's also somebody, if you're having a bad day, you know that she's going to pick you up. She's going to make you smile. And she's an awesome person. She's a great teammate.
This one's for Coach. A lot of the girls have put an emphasis on weightlifting. Have you seen a difference in how you guys are performing on the field from that?
Absolutely. I think that the weight program here has grown tremendously the past few years and added strength, and you can tell in the way they hit and the way they pitch, the arm strength and throwing the ball and exit velos and just throwing velos, stuff like that. So yeah, it's super important. Strength is not the only thing. Flexibility is super important also in bat and ball sports. So that's something that we do during our preseason conditioning. Do a lot of yoga as well, and Coach Katie's been instrumental in that. Me, not so much.
All right, we have time for one more question.
This is for any of the athletes. If you are into like a slump, how do you keep a mental level head while you go through your games?
First of all, we don't use the word slump.
Okay. One of the main things is you have to, that's to the point where you're weak and you're down and you have to rely on your teammates. You have to know that your teammates are going to be there to pick you up, and you just have to do your job. And sometimes it's hard, but you have to take time and you have to work on it. And like I said, confidence is a big thing. Especially when you're down, you have to still know that you can do it and you are capable of doing it.
That happens a lot with athletes, but I know for me, I just have to not get in my head and know that I can do it and just keep putting in the effort, because it will definitely show off that you've been working hard and it will help you get out of the slump.
Thank you, girls softball, for joining us today. Up next, we will sit down with the boys tennis team to find out more about their upcoming season. Once again, welcome back to Spring Media Day. The boys tennis team is represented by Coach Smith and players Joseph Burnham, Cole Avendroth, and Ethan Durham. Last season, the boys placed 5th at the Sunflower League tournament, ending their season. Their first tournament is at Mill Valley High School at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Show up to cheer on the boys to victory. Now let's open it up to Coach Smith for his opening statement.
Hey, whoa, hot mic. We're glad to be here for another media day. We're glad the weather is looking like it's going to improve after today, and we will finally actually get to play some tennis. We're excited to get going.
I will open the floor up to questions.
So with tennis being a spring sport, how many of the players are multi-sport athletes?
A lot. Cole was on the soccer team. Ethan was on the swim team and has played soccer before. Joseph is pretty much a year-round tennis player. And I think that ratio probably holds true for our team. It's probably about, half at least are guys that play multiple sports.
So playing multiple sports, does that have an effect on your game or like in any way possible?
Yeah, I guess I'll take this one. I would say, so I play soccer, so I'm used to like side-to-side movement a lot of the time. And then also like hand-eye coordination, that really just affects like how I'm able to read the ball, how quick I can react to it. So I think it's really beneficial.
Yeah, a lot of the guys find success just because they're athletic. They might not have the most refined tennis skills, but you can get by in high school tennis just by being a good athlete.
Will any of you guys be taking your tennis career to the collegiate level?
No. Tennis is a really tough sport to play in college. Joseph certainly would be capable of playing at a medium-sized school, but he wants to be an engineer, and that's tough to be picky.
So with the weather not being totally ideal, how does that affect practices and how do you get by?
We get by probably a way that the team really likes. We cancel practice. Tennis is a sport where you get better at tennis by playing tennis. And we have so many athletic guys that are involved in other sports throughout the year that I don't need to run them for an hour. They're in fine shape. They're going to do fine. So we just have to wait for the weather to cooperate. And we at least know that if we don't get to play outside, nobody else gets to play outside either. Some of the rich kids might be playing inside.
So I'm Aiden Loney. So this is for any of the players. How do you prepare for a like soccer season or like a swim season compared to the tennis season?
All right. So if, like I play soccer year-round, so I'm always just playing soccer and being ready for the soccer season. Tennis-wise, like 2 weeks before the season starts, I might go out and play a little bit. But honestly, just being a part of the season, that's how I get my tennis in. But I mean, once you get back into it, it just comes back to you real quick.
And then with like swimming and everything, I kind of just throw myself in there, and then eventually I'll just accumulate with the hard work that we put in. Same with tennis.
I'm Liam Staggs. So as the weather goes down, such as a rained out practice, how do you find ways to work on your game at home, such as Wii Sports Tennis?
That's actually a really good idea, but I don't do anything.
I watch a lot of coaching videos to learn how to be a better coach and come up with ideas for the days that we do get to have practice.
Cece Koperonian, this is for the players. Do you guys have any individual goals for yourself this season?
Well, I got 7th at state last year, so I'm hoping it depends on the region that we get with other schools to depend on who I'm playing in singles, but I hope to get 7th or maybe even better this year.
Then I guess for me personally, just to have fun. I think Joseph and Caden are the only returning varsity players, right? So, I mean, it's kind of exciting. Just gonna have fun.
Weston. Coach, you were the gold 6A Coach of the Year. What are you hoping to improve with the boys to try and become the boys 6A Coach of the Year?
The short answer is I won't become the boys 6A Coach of the Year. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to work hard. We have a really young team. We lost 11 seniors last year. And on this year's team, we have something like 13 or 14 freshmen. We're very young. We're very raw. We have a few sophomores who are playing for the first time as well, a couple of seniors who are playing for the first time. So we're gonna work whenever we get a chance to get out there. And all I look for is growth. Tennis is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a lifetime sport. And I'm gonna give these guys the basics, and then it's up to them to go play and get better.
Guys, thanks for coming today. Obviously, as you can tell from some of the questions, they play a lot of Wii tennis and not actual tennis. So will each of you break down your game and like some of your strengths? Maybe not, you don't talk about your weaknesses, because I know Olathe West is probably watching, so we don't want to talk about weaknesses. But if you just break down your game, each of you, starting with Joseph.
Okay, well, without using like too many tennis terms, because I don't think anyone watching would understand, I'm not necessarily like a big guy, so I can't hit near as hard as other people or generate near enough spin to, mess with people. So most of my game is just keeping the ball in and just getting to all the balls, so just trying to be faster on the court.
For me, just kind of running around with my head cut off. But just kind of keeping the ball in and then making the other person work instead of me.
I just do a lot of slicing, so I try to put a lot of like a drop shot basically, because I don't have the best forehand, so I just try to keep it alive basically.
Now, Ethan, you had a very successful, like the boys swim and dive team, sorry to go back to the swim and dive, had a very successful season. Like, is that a lot of pressure now that you want to follow that up on a great tennis season as well, or are you just kind of like, just move on to the next thing?
I mean, it kind of like prepared me physically for the tennis season, but I mean, I'm just really kind of out here to have fun since I'm not the top player, so.
Unfortunately, that is our last question for boys tennis. Thank you for the coach and athletes for coming out. Up next, we have girls swim and dive to find out more about their upcoming season. Abby King, Elise Heydrich, and 2 divers, Jave Standen and Addison Kautsy. Last season, the girls had a great season and are looking to improve more this year. Their first meet is today at 4 p.m. at Summit Trail. Come out to support your girls. Now I will pass the mic to Coach Brandstrom for any opening statements.
Hi, thanks for having us here. We're excited to start our season. Our divers actually started last night since it's a city meet, and in Olathe we've got about 22 divers in all of the schools, and so we split the diving and swimming. So the girls started last night, and the swimmers will finish it up today. So.
Thank you, Coach Brandstrom. Now I will open up the floor to questions.
Weston, this is for a coach. What is the schedule like every day to get ready for an upcoming meet, including today?
Well, so we won't have practice today. We practice about 8 times a week. So starting next week, we start our 2-a-days, and so we'll do mornings on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we go Monday through Friday, and then Saturday mornings, mainly because at the end of the season, we need to taper, and we can't taper when we have 1 or 2 meets in the middle of the week, taking us out of practice. And so we don't practice on days that we have meets. So if we had a Wednesday meet, we wouldn't have a Wednesday morning practice, but otherwise we are in there a lot so that we can get them going, so that we can taper at the end and drop more time.
This is for Coach Brandstrom. With you also being the boys swim and dive coach, how do you coach the girls differently or differently at all if you do?
I don't think I really coach them that much differently. The personalities are a little bit different, and music is, in my opinion, a little bit better. But otherwise, we kind of do the same thing. It's just getting them ready. The boys' season is longer, so the drag week or hell week that we have for boys' season, we don't necessarily do for girls because we don't have that 2-week break where we can just have no meets. And so that's a little bit different, but for the most part, we do it about the same.
Cece Koperanian, so the boys' season was phenomenal. So how do you as a coach and for the swimmers plan to do that in your guys' season and to step up more and break more school records and all that?
I think with the boys, part of it was that the guys really liked being around each other, and that kind of helped fuel them working hard and having fun and that kind of stuff. And then when they started dropping time, they encouraged each other, and so that just kind of built on itself. I kind of said before that the group that we had was probably the least experienced 4 years ago, and so the amount of improvement they did was a credit to them wanting to work hard and get better. And so with the girls, it's the same thing. The more they encourage each other, the more they will push each other forward and exciting. This year we do have divers, which we didn't have divers at all last year, and we actually have 8. And so they're going to be competitive within themselves because for league and state we can only take 4, and a lot of meets we're limited to 3 or 4. So they're going to be competing for spots, so that'll be good to push each other that way. But yeah, just hoping to kind of do the same thing.
I'm Natalie Fields with the Raven Network, and my question is for Abby and Elise. I was wondering, what do you think your role is as seniors on the team, and what do you want to leave for the other teammates?
Yeah, I think definitely for a lot of girls, this is their first time being on a high school swim team. Our team's gotten a lot bigger from last year, so as seniors, the ones, there are just a few handful of us who have had a quote-unquote normal season. So I think it's just helping them out for meets. There's a lot of working parts that go into a meet that can make it very, very nerve-wracking. And so, just being there, being a support system. Also through practices too, when we practice 8 times a week, it's hard and it's difficult and it's tiring. So being encouraging for each other, I think is a really, really big thing.
Yeah, just kind of tagging on, our practices are really difficult, and the mental aspect is a really big part in swim. So just kind of reminding them that it is normal to feel that way. It is normal to have those doubts, but also teaching them how to push through and to keep going and just be the best we can be.
I'm Cody Boldoff, and this question is for Elise, but Coach Brandstrom said that you guys are going to start 2-a-days, and with Elise being in ecom, how are you going to kind of split your time between swim and ecom? Because I know ecom's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm obviously making a feature film right now for ecom. That's been something for the past 2 years that I've balanced. They're both things that I love, which makes it a lot easier. Being a director on the feature film, like, it makes me sad when I can't be there for some filming days, but I'm still at a meet. I'm with my girls, we're swimming, so, it's a balancing act, but they're both things that I love, so I make it work.
Yeah, I have a quick question. We're the divers. Divers, we gotta hear from you, man, because that's like so awesome. Like, tell me what it's like to get up on that board and like do one of your, whatever you do up there. I mean, I'm not gonna name all the kind of different dives you do and stuff like that because, I don't want to show off my knowledge. But talk to us about what it's like to get up there.
It's scary. You really don't want to flop. That's how. I don't know.
I'll say something for them just because they're new and none of them have been on a swim and dive team before, so they kind of got thrown into talking up here without really knowing what they were doing. But most of them are either have a lot of background in cheer and with diving. I think Jade, are you the only one, or you and Stella are the only two that have dove before? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So only two of them have some diving experience. The rest are all gymnasts, and so that is a different thing for them to try to figure out. In gymnastics, you don't want to go head first, and so that's a new thing that they've got to kind of learn. But because they're all gymnasts, they're all good. I actually told our dive coach to cut to 5 because knowing that we can only have 4 at some of the big meets, and then she gave me 8, and said because they're all really good. So it's going to be fun. And again, last night being their first time through, Jade wasn't there, but because of cheer, but it's going to be good for them and a lot of fun to see them grow and learning some of the things that maybe they didn't do with gymnastics, but because they have that ability, they're gonna be really competitive. So.
We do have time for one more question. Coach, you mentioned that last season you guys did not have any divers. So with having a large amount of divers, how do you think that will impact the team as a whole?
It actually will a lot because, like I said, you have 4 spots that you can have people, and if you can get them qualified for league and state and have those 11 dives, not everybody will be able to do that. So that's just one empty event out of the 12 if we don't have anyone. So last year we were real competitive, but we had one whole event that we had nobody. And having 4 or 5 or 6, you can fill in those points. That will balance out if somebody else has maybe, Olathe South has a really strong medley relay, and they're going to be really hard to beat, but they have 0 divers. And so our divers are going to help balance that out. So it will definitely benefit us as a whole.
Thank you, Girls Swim and Dive. That wraps our spring and final media day of the year. Thank you to all our spring sports athletes and coaches for sitting down with us and talking about your upcoming season. The Raven Network wishes you guys a great season. And as always, remember to follow the Raven Network on all our social media and our YouTube at the Raven Network, alongside our website, theravendaily.com. For the Convergence and SID team, this has been Libby Zook, Ashley Gillette, Avery Johnson. Thank you, Ravens, and have a great Thursday.